Hello Overclockers, and welcome. Oh, screw this. Where's EPIC when you need him?
Playoff time, right? We had one playoff game yesterday, one best of three. It's best of threes all the way through to the final, and we have a few more coming up for you guys. This one, Clique versus Cognizant. They already started. They were too eager to get going, so we have played their first map. That result was a 13-9 in favor of Clique on their opponent's pick. Cog picked into Ascent. An interesting choice, I think it's fair to say, considering the landscape of maps that we've seen recently in the tournament. Next up is Fracture. That'll be Clique's choice, and if we do go the distance, we'll end up on Split.
Yes, that is true. Has the next map been Fracture? We've been here before already on broadcast, and between these two teams, I mean, we've saw Clique. Me and you saw them last night. In terms of Cognizant, we've not actually had a chance to really see what the general team's like. We never even had a chance to sit behind them and watch their games. The other casting duo has, luckily enough for them. So we'll need to see exactly how the team gauges their opponents, especially on a map like Fracture. Very, very complicated map, you have to say.
Yeah, I think the thing for Clique right now is dusting themselves off and being put in a better position than they were yesterday.
Yes.
It was a very, very bitter end to what was otherwise a sweet day for them. They were up 7-0. They then lost the first two maps that they had in the tournament in a 2-0 fashion, a long series up against, who was it yesterday? It's been so long now. Jokers, like up against Jokers, who are now even themselves in the lower bracket. So there's so many matchups. I think we've seen repeat matchups as well, such as Control versus Insight. That's now locked them into the upper bracket, which we'll have after this one. My head's just spinning now as to who the actual favourite for this tournament is. Insight, lower bracket as well. They were also one of the favourites. And Clique here, they have to get their business done. They've got to dust themselves off and move in through the next set of games to get to that lower final.
And this is what I was talking about yesterday, about defining the landscape of the tournament and Beacon moving forward. Because teams like Insight, I mean, I don't want to say it was a bottle job, but what I'm going to say is they did have that weakness that has been exploited by Control on the rematch. I mean, me and you talked about it before in terms of the rematch statistic in Valorant. When you come back to play the team that you've been defeated by, you have a more chance of actually winning, which is an absolutely crazy statistic.
Yeah, it's a lot into the way that you try and play a game and how much anti-stratting can have big value. Of course, the VODs for the stream not available until after the weekend, so that means that really you do have to be keeping your ear to the ground and trying to work out really what is going on and how things are being set up, word of mouth. And I think it's good for community building at least. There is a real sense of community here at the event. I mean, speaking of community, Insight, was it one of their former coaches, Pal, has actually made an appearance as well. So I think he'll be critical of what's been going on. And Insight, similar to Clique, are in that position now where you need to be a bit more reflective. And I think these players, certainly those two groups, are very critical of themselves. And the fact that they are both in the lower bracket now, leaving Control and next in line with a chance to already stamp their ticket into the grand final, just makes it even more interesting. And looking towards that lower final later on that we'll be covering, I mean, I really don't know where this one is headed.
Could go either way. I mean, on top of that, and you think towards what the matchups could be further on, I mean, we could have top seed versus second seed in a lower bracket. I mean, that's going to be a lower bracket brawl. I mean, that's something to look forward to. And then you've got the upper bracket final as well. So things are really starting to heat up in here in temperature. and in the bracket.
Yeah, that they do. And we will be ready to go into this game very shortly. Both of the teams are prepared in the lobby. They've played the first map already. We have Cognizant here as well, of course. And it's a team that we haven't seen too much of, but has showed decent results here and there. You've got Cam coming in from that previous K10 roster that appeared at EPIC38. I think that was probably another team which fell short of the expectations that they had, similarly to play well. And some of those players sort of mix around. They go to different rosters. Some of those play well players went to Jokers. They then had an underperformance in the first game today, which I think is fair to do. It can be fair to catch you out. I think sometimes you ride that high of the game that you had the previous day, and then you come into the early morning affair in a game like that they had up against an next in line, and it puts the pressure on, I suppose. But it's part and parcel almost of the environment.
Is it underperforming though when you look at how well next in line have
that
been
is
playing?
True, yeah.
Because I mean, even when we were speaking to Darb, the coach of next in line, he was saying that he felt as if the team had been very much underrated and that they had a point to prove. That's exactly what we are seeing just now in terms of their upper bracket run. And I mean, going up against Control, Control pushed them to the edge, beat them on Icebox. That's something I'll be watching with what would you call it? With like
watching with keen eyes, keen interest, I suppose. Really, it depends how you put it. We are still just waiting to get into here. Hopefully, all of those issues will be resolved, and I believe we are moments away. We are, we're just going to send it in, right? Why not? No reason to deliberate any longer on the desk. But I think something I did want to quickly mention before we get into Fracture here is how having such a flexible pool of maps has been a big help for some of these teams. And Clique bringing out Fracture here, I think, is a nice addition. We've seen a couple variations on how people like to play it, and actually getting the Sky introduced on quite a few different comps, but they'll forgo it. It's actually a neon meta, it seems to be, across the board here, if that's what Cam picks. And double duelist coming out from Cognizant.
This is something that I love to see. Neon, we've not seen much of, but very aggressive, very good agent. I was hoping to see the Neon actually has a on Lotus. We didn't get treated to that, but certainly got treated to a good map. I'm hoping Fracture is just as good. It looks as if it is going to be mirror comp, so apart from a double duelist?
Yeah, double duelist, right? So instead of having that secondary initiator, which is what Clique have opted for, you've got Jamie playing on the Fade there as well, and then it's going to be Kurt on the Neon. I find this really interesting. Kurt himself was actually that main Fade player that we saw very consistently for GigaHub when they were at this event previous, that two players that have moved over, joining along in forces with Peter and Rex, who were previously on the Genkai roster that time around. But this is all in the past. We're looking towards the future. And what future awaits Cognizant? Is it one which sends us to a third map and leaves them with potential to claw this one back and continue their run? Or do Clique run away with it as we perhaps expected them to?
That's a lot of questions to be answered.
Is it little too much in one bundle for you there?
Maybe. Well, I don't have the answers. These teams will have the
answers.
That is very true. When we get to the end here. Obviously, as we look towards this, Clique starting on the defence here. Looking towards this comp, we're realistically expecting Clique to be a little bit more aggressive in how they play the map in total.
Yeah, I think that is just lent into what you're getting from your Neon player here. It used to be Ego on the GigaHub roster, now it's going to be Kurt. Already proved yesterday how good he can be on a Jet. Neon is a completely different agent, however. Still maintains a lot of the same principles, and the general rule of thumb for a duelist is that you're trying to create space, but a lot of that space is built for you off the back of the two initiators that you have. Immediately, we are going to see them go for that bridge crunch as well towards the top side of the map. This 5-player push from Cog in towards B main, however, could be the perfect counter. Rex will be the one that holds away from the pack with the utility there to stop them. It's just whether he over-peaks a little too much or not.
Already, look at this, contact taken. Whoa, the mollies are proc. But this is the thing though, nothing has actually hit Rex. 88 HP, and now all the troops, all the reinforcements coming back in. Nice little molly through. Zenith just getting a little bit aggressive there. Nobody actually quite hitting the mark just yet, but finally we see the first fells. It's Rex to get on Cam, Zenith to get on Peter.
Yeah, Zenith is taking this fight to tower right now, and there's a couple players here, but still the flank is coming through from behind. Jamie picking up 2 kills in main, and everything is falling apart here for Cog on the round. Clique take it in the end with only a singular casualty. And that tower control, that tower stall, was essentially what won them the round. Rex was your one player on the site, used the Nano Swarm to just cut the push and isolate Cam away from the rest of the pack, and then there was no prioritization from Cognizant to take any extra space. Tower was enabled to Clique to hold on to, the flank came through, and by the time it arrived, that was the round over.
Not only that though, Hazza, how much utility was expended in that first 10 seconds of the execution, and how much of it was effective? Yes, you cleared the space and understand that sometimes utility hit is utility wasted. Realistically though, I feel as if like it didn't need that much. If that's the point I'm trying to make.
I think you can say that with hindsight, but obviously it is just Rex in that position. But already, Clique looking to do exactly what the same as they did on the pistol, but not to the same success. Pate makes a meal of Kurt there, and now we've got a bit of an investment here from Cog, actually. They have just put everything forward. Spectres in hand, big incendiary to cause damage from Whisk, but it goes traded out, and Cog have made really good of this situation.
Yeah, really good of the force. There is a rifle on the site as well, so things going to be looking even better. But do these players decide to actually send it? It certainly looks likely, even though it is maybe thinking about at the back of their minds, is this a bit too much? 4 players, 2-person advantage for Cog at this situation.
Yeah, the alarm bot gives away Peter's position, flash coming through on towards Pate, takes them out, and finally the Killjoy player drops. Still doable, and Jamie has found a flank here yet again, this time choosing to use the zipline and go across. The information not there. At distance, it's a difficult fight to take, but Soldier on such low HP will struggle. In comes the Aftershock. They're slowly pressuring away at these remaining players in sight, and the post isn't too good! Jamie gets them both, but won't find the round. Looking to hold on to the Phantom here, and will probably just about get away with it. 1-1, an immediate response from Cog. That weapon kept could be big for Clique's chances in the next, however.
It really could be, Hazza. That's an absolutely massive, massive round just to get that rifle through. The fact that all the rifles lost for Cog, but obviously they'll have the economy to reinvest. On top of that, you look towards the ultimate economies, that first cycle of ultimates starting to come through.
It was map 2 yesterday of Clique versus Jokers, where we had only 2 rifles. I believe it was in the hands of Rex and Whisk. They were both on the Sentinels at that point in time. Whisk was playing the Sage. The rest pistols, and that's all they needed to turn around. Not as much to work with this time, but yeah, Cogs still are mainly on Spectres, at least for Cam, who's going to be pushing in here.
I mean, let's not talk about the weaponry too much. We've seen lesser weaponry do the work before.
Yeah.
Rex just getting a little bit aggressive here, just trying to see if they can make contact, but Cam just slowly dips off. Not quite finding what was left before them, but Jamie is certainly going to meet contact. Does a boatload of damage, but can't get onto ulti. Takes Jamie clean out, and that's an upgrade for one of those players.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot Clique playing heavy towards certain areas of the map. Gambled on the rotation there and decided to stack the A site, as that has been the hit which came in last round at least. It was the immediate dish control though. We're seeing every single round Cog liking to play in towards one of the orbs and then rotating over here. Turret to take contact, stun playing off the back of it. This should be good. It holds Clique back for a moment, but they can re-engage without any issues. Alarm bot coming out. Rex unable to fight this any longer. Overstaying as well. Zera finding yet another one. Things just slowly creeping onto a close. Peter pressed in the corner, and yeah, this should be it. The Phantom, which Clique bought in, not good for too much, and Cognizant good for 2 rounds of their own.
Well played from Cognizant. I mean, realistically, it kind of all collapsed there from Jamie, just over-peaking ever so slightly, and then the site was completely free. All in all, a pretty good round that you could see, Hazza, and the post plan really effective.
That was the setup as well, right? Jamie is the one player with the rifle, so I guess you're really hedging your bets there. Yeah. Clique, they want to have a rifle to hold down one of the sites, but at the same time it's left unsupported. As soon as you lose that, that's pretty much your chance in the round gone, and that is exactly what we see. Now, both teams should be fully invested, and this will be the best insight that we're going to be getting as to how things are looking for Clique on their defenders' side. It's another push. This time they've already made it all the way around towards defender spawn. But we're seeing here that the push has come through. Cog are already going to take the site.
Yeah, site completely in the hands, but look at this, hot on their heels is Clique Esports. The fact that Truck or Cut able to get in towards the site, use the Neon run. Cam's just dashed by and they've got the information. Retake in towards Sands, not to be advised. Pierre gets the trade, Cut elsewhere getting one. It's down to 3 versus 2. The Breach low on HP, but look at this, look at the call hazard. It's a rotate towards the other side, and they have the faster rotate Cognizant. Clique having to go the long way round.
Both of the bases have been infiltrated. The spawn areas in this post plant looks to be pretty decent for Cognizant because you have all of that space towards Gen, very open, could even be a player in towards tower. This is information that Clique do not have. 3 versus 2, Brimalt in pocket as well, like you highlighted, and it's just a matter of buying as much time as they possibly can. If you can get away with not using the orbital strike, then you really don't want to. Soldier finds the first, and I think that might just be it. Turret here to keep Kurt pushed back. Will he attempt this? It seems as if he will. Walty makes sure that there's nothing happening. 3-1, Cognizant get yet another round.
Cognizant are really taking this towards Clique. Clique just somewhat losing controls after the pistol. They can't seem to find a way to win out, and I like what the ideas that they're putting forward. For instance, like taking that B main space that they did, but the players on site just completely getting failed most of the time.
I find this one to be quite interesting for Clique. I think my impression of this roster is mainly built upon that old like Jamie's & Co. Giga Hub roster that we had previous. And Fracture for them was always an interesting map. It relied heavily on the Neon player coming up big, and the Neon player for Cog, Cam, is cutting them apart.
Already getting the work done, Hazard. The rest of the Clique boys just coming through in towards the, I guess, CT / Sands position. That's just not good. That's an ult wasted already. Not even getting to take contact, just completely cut down. Jamie close by. We are going to see the Boombot clear them out, and Zerif, well, going to clear them out with a rifle. 1 player left. Peter has to go, but maybe he can.
Maybe he can. I don't think there's enough time left on the clock anyway, but we'll at the very least take a rifle to hold on to into the next. I mean, simply here, Cognizant have to try and play time as much as possible. Peter knows the position, trying to go for the spam onto Cam, but that's a very nice relay bolt, and it's bought even just precious more seconds to stop Peter from pushing in. I mean, yeah, I guess there was plenty of time, right? But it is just the setup there from Cog with the crossfire in towards main, Cam playing time and finding himself 3.
Yeah, the players really doing a lot of work there. Cam, massive entries, and we can see it right here. Yes, I know it's equal frags, but it's still in towards the back pocket.
Yeah, and this comes back to what I was saying about how much of a step up the Neon players need to make for both of these teams if they're to have success. This Clique team before, when it was that old core, like I mentioned, it was ego having to do all of that work, and from the defender's side, it's always that much more difficult to get your Neon player involved, which is why they're so often going for this crunch towards the top side of the map, and we see it yet again as Clique are looking to press for information, but already Cog are moving in towards A.
Yeah, there is 2 ultimate orbs being taken up, almost being grabbed by Clique. They can get the lockdown activated, which they have done, and this will be really big for the retake, but they don't have anybody prepared to take out main, although maybe they will now, as we have just seen the Fade cross over. Lockdown ready to go through, so is the Rolling Thunder. A lot of ultimates being invested in towards this round. Peter at least gets a trade on towards the site. It's 4 versus 3, cuts rear, tapping the spike, but no one's there to take contact.
Look at the ults though. Orbital strike, Rolling Thunder, and Cam to follow it up. The player's softened inside the site and he slices them all apart. Finds 2, only 1 left, and it's Kurt. Yet again the Neon player needing to be the difference maker. But with the amount of utility on towards the spike, even a tap shouldn't bait out a peak. It does. Kurt trying to whittle away at the forces that stand in front of him. Surely not! I can't believe it. I don't think there's enough time. Fraction of a second as the circle finally encloses that spike, but I mean, Cognizant here, they're playing with fire, and that was a big ult investment.
Clique has it. Clique are just ever so slowly, fractionally making things better as the rounds go on, but you don't have, I mean, infinite rounds to play with here.
You don't.
You have 12. There's no kind of small margins. You either win the round or you don't. Yes, there's been improvements, but those improvements need to be quicker.
They need to be binary, right? It's a 0 or a 1. You're winning the round or you aren't. And right now, yeah, you can say that it was a good performance. It's like the Frank Lampard thing. Oh yeah, I thought our possession was good, but we lost the game. You know, it counts for nothing. Here we go. Kurt finally looking to create something concrete. And in fact, he's a battering ram in the faces of Cognizant, finding the first 2 kills, denying the A main control, which they've enjoyed for the past couple rounds. And just sitting on the other side of the smoke, slowing down the pace and understanding that they don't have to bring the fight to them anymore because the numbers advantage sit with Clique.
Now, Jamie close with the judge, and it is that a trap that could potentially be sprung. The players just slowly waiting outside, but it's on the B side the most the interesting stuff is happening. There's a KJ lurking round about there, a couple of pings and whatnot, as these players just somewhat bait back and forth. That KJ just going to beat out with a lockdown, Hazza.
It's forced in the peak. Oh my goodness. Cognizant find 2 kills of their own. We're back into a 3 versus 3. Fault line coming through. Lockdown is happening here. Rex just about going to get away from it. Has the utility there, detained. Unable to use the Alarma or the Swarm. That's a free entry to the site. Still a 3 versus 3. Lockdown of their own to use, but Cognizant can bring this to post, and now there's a real opportunity.
Massive, massive opportunity, and totally well played there by Cog. This lockdown though, whether they choose to engage on it or just choose to sit out on tower, because realistically, Hazza, this might not be bad. Let's look at where the spike is planted. It's not planted in default. It's planted pretty open. They can easily re-engage after this as the players start to come in. Patty in towards tower is going to be vulnerable. There's players out on main that are just going to hold the defuse. Soldier gets it. That's massive. Patty getting in towards Rex. It's all up to Whisk now.
Yeah, this should be Cognizant's round. They've played this brilliantly. It should have been Clique's, but somehow they found a way to concede it. Cognizant up with a lead of 5. Just starting things off here. Kurt doing what he needed to do, right? They took the A main control. That precedent already set. The conditioning there that they're trying to play more aggressive towards the top side of the map. Let's hold on to A main. We've conceded it a couple times and it's been the Achilles heel. Finally, they're able to put a glove on it, and then somehow there's just that over-aggression perhaps to look for something extra. Cognizant having to re-clear all of that space, get it, bring it back somehow to a post plant with Rex off the site, and it's another.
It's not even that, the contact taken on B main by Cog, right? It makes Clique think, oh, by the way, this lockdown must be a fake, but actually clears the site completely.
Yeah. And look, here they are, immediately back in, and this time the destination is B. Zera finds the first kill onto Rex. That's your anchor gone from the site yet again, and Cognizant are running rampant. This is a full invest from Clique. They should be getting at least something. I mean, the expectation is there as it has been on many, many games so far this tournament. This looked to be the one that was not necessarily guaranteed, but a little confidence booster. Get you back on your feet, but right now, they're down on a knee.
They certainly seem to be ready. Down on maybe 2 knees, has up with their head on the chopping block. As rounds just keep rolling into Cog's hands. And again, it's the saying that I always bring back. It's not how many rounds you win, it's the manner in which you win them. And right now, I mean, Cognizant just, where does it end?
Yeah, I mean, you would like to think that it ends with a timeout soon enough from Clique, because they have just let this one carry on and on with absolutely zero intervention. They have ults to work with. I don't anticipate them to be involved on this occasion simply because they're on a set of sheriffs, but something must be done to slow down the pace of Cognizant. Yeah, they're playing with 2 duelists. You expect their attack to be a little better, and here comes Kurt, trying to set the pressure on immediately. Only Pate there, but still able to find at least 1 kill. Good trade out. This is beneficial for the defenders, but yet again, they have conceded A as a concession.
And not only that, it's the ultimates that they've got to back it up. A showstopper and a rolling thunder in the back pockets. This is certainly going to be a tough one. As the players already out on main, Soldier not. Might be a little bit forfeit here, and it certainly is, but the trades are there. They've worked together, and they've completely wiped out their opponent's Cog. I thought Soldier was going to be maybe a potential upgrade, but when you've got that cohesion, that swinging off one another, it just works perfectly.
I think A main control just has to be the priority for Clique right now, because every single time they don't have a grasp over it, it doesn't really feel as if, okay, look, if Cognizant are going A and they have A main control, that's the round. Like, that is the round, done and said and over with. Because you see this again, Clique are playing in a fairly predictable fashion. Yet again, looking for that aggression off the back of Kurt. As soon as Cognizant read this, they send it the opposite way, they bring it to post, and they look near unbeatable from that position.
Do you know what the definition of insanity is?
Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
And that's exactly what we're seeing from Clique with that bridge crunch.
I think there are still ways to find something within the madness.
Yes, that's true.
It's not as clear cut as that.
Yeah,
but there need to be variations. And I agree with you in the fact that we haven't really seen too much of it. The setup is different this time around, though. Rex now playing A. On that Sentinel role, a bigger bastion to lock things down. But look at the read from Cog.
Yeah. I mean, it's not only I was about to say that's a big kill from Cog. It was the pace change that we actually saw there from Cog. I mean, it made Clique completely second guess. They did actually have a decent read and a decent setup at the very beginning, but they just miss out. Although that big first pick from Cut, even bigger from Peter. This is massive right now from Clique.
This is huge. Really, really nice combo there. You had the stun towards the default plant, followed up with the orbital strike. Now both players trying to sit in from main and make something happen, but I don't know if you want to risk putting anything extra into this. Perhaps the showstopper is just blind spam through the smokes, trying to get a few kills. Xerath finds 2, manages to bag the reload, wants a little more, constantly plucking away more of those weapons from the Clique hands, but I think we have to say the defenders approach this in a much better fashion. Great util combos to take back the site, and yeah, Cognizant burn a few of their own to little avail.
Well, on top of that, well, there's been some ultimates bummed through. There's still plenty of good ones in the pocket. I'm talking about a Nightfall from Jamie. And, well, the showstopper still there, as well as Soldier's orbital strike.
Yeah, we saw Cog use their Rolling Thunder to just press them back, right? But, I mean, Soldiers actually just instantly altered this. Immediately denied A main control. I said it was one of the win conditions here for Cog, and here they go. Out comes the showstopper, and Walty finds the kill. Soldier pressing onwards. This is rampant disrespect from Cognizant as they fire in towards A. Finally, the fuse goes off, and they find the space and advantages they require.
Well, there's still a fuse slowly dwindling away here, starting to burn, and the burn actually happens on towards the spike plant. Walty close by though. Trades come through, one player left, Rex gets taken out. Xerath just holding that cross up from drop, plays absolutely massive.
And this is a team which Clique have beaten before in their own group, right?
Yes.
Cognizant didn't come out of the group unscathed as Clique did. That was their 7-0 run, beating every single one of their opponents up against a Group A opposition. Things a little more laboured there for Jokers, and we do have them now in the lower bracket. But for their own map pick, this has been very, very shy of expectation, if you could even call it that at this point. I mean, from the defenders' side, you want one more round here. They have some pieces to work with. Kurt wants to get a little bit closer to the overdrive, but Walty is anticipating a push. Can't deal with it.
Can't deal with it at all, but they've got the wrong read. Yes, we have seen Cliques taking advantage, Hazza, but is the advantage better in the post plant for Cog, considering how good they can be?
I think that this has to be a Clique round. You have 3 ults to work with. You have your lockdown. I mean, from this position, you can probably force some control in sewers. The majority of these players they have readjusted more towards spawn, and I like this because the anticipation from Clique might be that Cog was set up, you know, actually in towards main. There's some utility to slow things down. They've placed the lockdown beneath. Rolling Thunder as well to send it through. It's actually hit Rex. Diffuse coming in, but still more utility to buy time more than anything else. The plant not for them. A detain onto Soldier. I think that's going to be it. Jamie looking to stick it out, and Clique do get it.
Yeah, well played from Clique all in all. A 9-3 half, nothing again. Nothing to be scoffed at, Hazard. Nothing to be scoffed at.
That was such a mental round though, right? I mean, you have so many factors at play. Cognizant trying to front off the aggression that they expect towards one side of the map. having the free space on B because of the aggression that come out from the defenders towards Bridge, then deciding that they wanted to readjust the post plant towards Gen without it being planted for them, and then everything just spindles into a web that then unfolds for Clique to take the round.
I wouldn't necessarily agree that it wasn't planted for them if you think about the spam through the green box.
Yeah, I suppose so. It's a real half chance, isn't it? Like, oh, you know.
It's more for me in that round. Like the time was so low because Clique were clearing out all the additional space that if the delay or even at that, if they managed to just get a pick on towards the player trying to defuse, it could have went the wrong way, but at the same time, Clique get it done and we move on to a pistol.
Looking at Cognizant here as well, they're prioritising that A main control yet again. You can already see both of these teams have two different philosophies about how the map should be played. Pate trying to cause more damage but can't hold on to tower for as long as Rex was able to in their respective pistol round. 4 versus 4, still plenty of potential for the retake, but Clique looking fairly well set up until Whisk loses control of Arcade. Now Xerath can come bundling through.
Yeah, the boom bot clearing out tower there. Jamie does at least get back one onto Cam. Now look at this. It's the Raze moving through tower. Walty coming through with a massive swing. It's 2 versus 1 and the Raze here needs to raise ground. Raise the city that is in front of them. The 2 players left. One more headshot to find. Time getting low. As Rex peeks out! Xerath finding 3 and clutching that up for Cog.
Oh, I can't believe it, man. What a huge round to give them double digits, and it is Clique looking to crumble in those pivotal moments. You can see even from some of the shots on the replays here that they're not looking as clean as you would expect. Getting a little bit sloppy in places. Jamie in the site there as well, just fluffing his lines somewhat, and Xerath up to the task, steps up to the plate, and Cognizant, they churn away yet another, and with the pistol in their pocket now, things starting to look somewhat irretrievable. Clique are fully forced into this.
Clique have to force into this hazard. They need to give themselves a lifeline. And I mean, how long does that lifeline last for? How long can they stay alive? Oh, there's a couple of trades either way.
Yeah, Kurt finding a big kill, trades back and forth, 3 versus 3. Now we look towards the util game. Yes, Clique have been able to force back into this with weaponry, but coming into post, some of those key pieces may not be available to them. Big nade here coming in to just flush away Whisk, and that will be the first kill.
Advantage, Hazza. That's an advantage, a big one at that, because there's going to be no more smokes for the round. They can't just delay that a little bit longer.
That's your incendiary gone as well, so one of the win conditions in the post no longer in their possession. Now grouped up towards main, you have the seize and the stun slowly about to reload.
Yeah, you also have an aftershock. All 3 players just clearing the corners, taking their time. That's a massive, massive bit. The seize be coming out. They're going to get on towards the spike. The haunt comes through, the spam, the smoke dissipating at the right time. Is this all going to fall into place for Clique? No! Cognizant managed to clutch it out, and they have plenty of time for the defuse.
It's all about the utility game there as well, like I said, and making the most of what they had. A use of the seize and the stun coming through in that combination, right, to really pin them down on the spike, but then not quite capitalized off of. Cognizant expecting the repeak. They had smokes of their own. They had that pain shells, just holding on to it, waiting for the plant. It removed the incendiary, which I think would have been enough to close out the round if you can then put Whisk in a position where he's able to defend the spike from main and join along with his teammates. And it's another force. Clique are just going to keep sending this, bashing their head against the wall until finally they break through. But Cognizant may be far into the distance and long gone before that comes around. Trading out the neon picks. Cam gets 2, so does Kurt, but finally falls, and there we have it. Cognizant at an advantage.
Cognizant at the advantage. Let's not cut out Clique just yet. Remember, there was a couple of guns left strewn across the ground. And they're now in the hands of 2 very capable players, Jamie and Whisk, as they slowly move through the site. I think they're going to look for a pick here, Haz, and I think they have to. Yeah,
they do. Don't want a repeat of what happened in the previous round. Looking to spot out Xerath and gets it. That was the player that stopped Whisk from being able to make things a little more comfortable in the situation last time around, the 3 versus 3, and Walty hasn't got the aftershock right here either. Won't be even holding on to the angle to flush out that player. Gets an upgrade onto the Phantom, and Whisk is still pinned in, but they do not know about that player on sand.
They don't, but I tell you what, the stun has come through. They're waiting for Patty to come in at the right moment so they can play as a duo, trade off one another. Here comes the stun, not going to hit anything. Jamie just sprays down Walty, not looking in the right place. Taunt just getting taken away. It's just continuously having to fight against the utility. Whisk will swing off it and complete the round.
Very nice force back in from Clique here. Out comes Kurt to try and find the openers, but Cam is doing God's work in A main. And then, yeah, just at the end there, we see that maturity come out from Clique. They had the utility that time around. So you've got Jamie just sitting in sand, sending out the Prowler, sending out the Horn, and Whisk playing very patiently in towards the default plant to then finally take the kill when necessary. I
think as well, has it on that last round, Whisk getting that pick can't be understated, but also changing the default. They usually planting for main, that's what Clique were doing, but they changed it up in that last round. And this round, they're being even more aggressive. This time towards a different side of the map.
Yeah, right, and this is the difference between Clique's attackers and defenders sided rounds. It's a low investment from Cog, we do have to highlight that, but just completely ripping them apart. When your Neon player on the attacking side is playing well, under the sort of thesis that Clique have about how they like to set up and the aggression that they're constantly bringing to every single round, it's only ever going to favour you well. But yeah, it has done here too. Flawless it goes.
Massive round. Again, though, that Cog were on an equal. Yeah. There is a caveat to that last one.
I do also like to see Rex getting 3 kills there as well. I think it's good to keep the confidence up on all members of the team, it not just be heavily reliant on what your duelist is doing.
Now moving into this has the first ult cycle of this half coming through. We do have the lockdown and, I mean, 3 big massive ults we have to say. On top of that, Rolling Thunder on the back lines as well. For Cog, I mean, they're going to be waiting a little bit longer for those ultimates to come online. So maybe this gap could close even longer before Cog have a real fighting chance.
Yeah, Cog don't have an orbital strike to deal with a lockdown here, so it'd be interesting to see what the idea is with that. Immediately dish control taken. I'm not sure if this is the push. Yeah, it is. Lockdown coming into the corner. Aftershock to deal some damage. Well, really needs a paint shells or something else to follow it up if we are to break it. And no, they are just going to sit further back. But this is a lot of main control. The pinch in from Jamie here is key. He needs to come up with some kills to take these players out from main. Otherwise, the retake for Cognizant is going to look so much better.
Oh no, just awkward fight. There is a second player there, it is Xerath, and they've not found him. They've not found Xerath at all, and that's 2 big massive picks. Rolling Thunder offline, and the control of a KJ, plus the mollies. Cam's just flung themselves in, a body strewn across the floor once more, and now it's a 2 versus 3.
It's a chance for Pate coming in round the back. 2 players stunned on the fault line, but so much ground yet to cover before the duel can be taken. Gets away with 1, but still so much more to do, and Walty in a position that you're not giving him any chance to get this over the line. Goes for the half and actually just cuts it short. Runs away, turns his head from the occasion, back through spawn to save that rifle. Clique, another round for them, back within 5.
Soldier decides to take a fight in towards main, 1-on-1. And I mean, I can't help but feel as if that was a big, massive loss there. Yeah. I think the Raze player does what they have to do. They get at least 2 picks. They somewhat even out the score. And then from there, I mean, the fights being taken are like fights that need to happen, but maybe like a couple of seconds later, or maybe like with a little bit of reinforcement.
It's all about the timings, right? And the way that this is working out, because it does right now feel like a matter of time before Cog have that perfect round to do what it is that they want, and we're going to see Cam go for some early aggression and just take full control of B main here. What is the reaction from Clique? Do they want to fight this? Xerath is moving up, one of the few players that has a rifle, and there we have it. Rolling Thunder now invested towards B. What do Cognizant want to do? The reaction is having B site taken away from them, and the crunch gets crunched countered. From the opposite end, they burst through with the support from B. Finally, Xerath arrives, but late to the party. It's a 3 versus 3, and there's room for an adjustment here from Clique. They take the post-plant towards spawn.
Now, it's a bit of an awkward one to retake into. Nightfall potentially going to be invested, so sound will be cut, but this is the biggest ultimate that could come through.
The orbital strike. We have to be looking towards it, and what that can do may just be playing for the interaction. here with the lockdown. Actually, you can catch both the spike and the lockdown in the same piece right now, so that's probably what Wisp would want to do, but no, he's just buying time, literally playing it for the round win, as smart as you could possibly look to do it. Jamie sending out the horn, here it is, playing for the life here, Soldier, putting his life on the line to get it halved. Pate finding 1 kill, looking to stick it out, actually takes a second with him, but Whisk at the 4-piece brings Clique within 4 rounds themselves.
5 rifles and 4 ultimates, Hazza. Is that a bit too much for 1 round? And I understand, yes, I understand the manner in which we are in right now for the likes of Clique. I understand that it's almost do or die. They want to kind of win out this map as fast as they can, Hazza.
Yeah.
But at the same time, surely you just use your guns in that situation.
I don't know. I really don't know. I think Clique right now are actually pretty happy to be cycling these ultimates. The bigger investment for ults is probably Cog, you know, throwing your lockdown in there as well. The way that they chose to play it, I mean, either of these teams can make a very valid argument for winning out the rounds with what they had invested. It was an interesting one, right? The immediate idea from Cognizant coming into the round, the call was to be crunching towards that attacker spawn, but then the reaction from Clique is to then move the players that they had bridge side in towards B with the Rolling Thunder, take the site. It's no longer that split push, and they're able to counter the crunch with a crunch of their own, which I think is really, really nicely played. So a good mid-round from them. Now looking towards this one, yeah, there are still some ults lingering about, but we're getting the op in play for Cam, and I think that this could be a huge one.
It could be. It could, I mean, there's a lot of things that could be huge
Lots
here.
of possibilities,
Lots
right?
of possibilities, especially in VALORANT, Hazza, you know,
Yeah.
and the strategical game and all that. It seems as if Clique are really liking this Route 1 VALORANT that we and you have discovered. It's a real Sam Allardyce moment. And they're realistically not wanting to take any chances with this round.
I think both of these teams could do with Sam Allardyce right now. Someone to keep them up,
Big
stop
on.
them from dropping out of the bracket. It's lower bracket lower bracket run, I guess, of both of these teams. There comes the orbital strike to just protect Pate, envelope him in tower, and Rex is enveloping these players
Spike
with
down.
bullets right now. Spike is down. It's in towards Canteen as well, and Walty has full control of it. Showstopper out from Zerif. 3 versus 1 for Jamie. Boomba also into the corner. Shots sent out. Position really difficult to work. Here comes Cam with the operator. Just a shot to bait it out. Walty finds it. 12-7 Cognizant up on their opponent's pick.
I don't think the op had much of an impact.
No, it was the ults,
Yeah.
right? We saw so many invested there. An orbital strike to just protect Pate in his position. A showstopper as well.
Another thing is as well, if Cam had actually hidden themselves in that last kind of ending to the round, right, that operator could have been hidden towards this round.
Yeah.
And now Clique potentially could change up what they want to do, but no, they're still deathballing.
It's a really difficult one to read into, right? You do, I think, just want to like take the fight there. Understand, yeah, Cam could be playing an operator, and it's something they're going to slowly be playing into here, Clique, as we go for the top map crunch with the operator now into the retake, and you have the Rolling Thunder available. Kurt, overdrive in hand, has to, you know, go and take a fight here, take some kills, because he's only got a stinger. You're playing up close in tower with that, and you know there's a chance to do so, but really taking an extra pick here would do big work for how Clique want to set up, but the post is decent. They have main control.
They do have main control, but look at this, Hazza. Look what potentially could be coming through. I was about to say the Rolling Thunder. I don't think it's going to hit much, but I'll tell you what, Truck will hit even harder. Zerif at least gets one back, and now it's really turning into a bit of carnage, a bit of rustle and tussle. Who can get in, who can win out? Patty gets the swing, but Jimmy wins it out. My goodness gracious me, taking him off guard. But how realistically can you take him off guard? As Cam needs to clutch up, doesn't clear the corner.
He just walks past it. Jamie's shot in the back. Now 4 map points between Clique, and bringing this to an overtime, keeping the idea that this can go 2-0 alive. Their attack so far has been pretty good. Like I said, they're a very aggressive team. It plays into the style that they want to bring on this map, which is ridiculous when Cog have 2 duelists. That's maybe what is expected, but I think at the same time, Raze on this map, especially on the defender's side, and the utility that she has and the util damage, act more, you're not using it in offensive capability. You're not constantly running it down.
In this situation, it seems as if Clique are just setting up. They've realised that maybe there has been a little bit of a bridge crunch going on. Cog, though, this time didn't decide to actually go for it, as the Clique did take that initial, let's just stop and see what the reaction is in the early round.
Into this round, Clique do have the better weapons, so setting up here in bridge and looking for a fight isn't the worst way to try and play it. Pate up close on the box. Jamie just readying the Prowler to clear out this position, and Kurt should be called immediately to action once it happens. Contact off of the turret here. Comes Pate and immediately falls. Whisk finds the kill. Soldier wants to hold on to tower, but it is stripped back from their grasp. Clique just taking the strides forward now, coming into their own. Cognizant, not too much that you can do in this round. Bodies on the line, maybe take a kill back, but even then it's ult orbs. Do you play exits?
I mean, for Cognizant, I think it's all about finding kills, finding heads. There's the first one, cracked already.
Cam's on a judge, fancies himself. Zeref's got one too, and if this is the way that the game comes to an end, then I don't know how I feel about Clique into the next one. Here comes Cam, judge in hand, players stunned up, finds the first, looking for the second, but Jamie denies it. 2 versus 2 flip, 2 versus 1. Zeref with another kill, but at range, Rex will dominate. 3 to go. Clique still just holding on by the skin of their teeth.
3 to go, Hazard, but look, did you see how much HP Rex was on? Yeah. 3 HP! I mean, 1 HP for every round left.
And this isn't even a full buy for Cognizant. They've just come in to cause as much damage as they possibly can. And the restricted way in which Clique are playing that post plant, deep in towards tower, sitting out in main, maybe dropping back gen or something along those lines, like arcade control, because that's where they sent it in. You're just inviting the pressure from Cam, who is running them down at this point. 3 to go. Here is the buy round. Pate on site, Util there. Kurt will be isolated and can't even win his first duel. This is a problem.
It's a real big problem, and look at the delay that's coming through. The spam as well. Oh my god, they're investing everything to delay Clique here. Just
even going to bring in the lockdown as well from the corner.
Yeah,
if someone walks out to spam it, that's a free kill. You trade it back, and they're just going to back away, respect it. I mean, you've not even fully flushed them from main, so Cognizant here, perhaps a little too trigger happy on using those ultimates, and yeah, we get the cut noise, the freeze, and the re-hit anticipates.
But has a look at the space. It's slowly starting to get more claustrophobic.
Yep. They've got their 2 duelist players now on Cognizant. They're not happy with this situation, and they want to post up in the corner, make sure the exec isn't coming through. It finally does. Pate take the contact. Soldier spraying them down. Decent damage, but Whisk will plant. Has orbital strike, so just going for the safe option. But main is so compromised, and they have no idea.
Do they realise that Prowler doesn't even catch them either?
Doesn't.
We are going to see the Neon ult come through, trying to clear the space as quickly as possible.
Whisk is playing top side, wanted to use the ult, but it's already gone, and so too may have their chances in this game. Jamie all the way into the corner. Walty takes him out. 13 to 9. Cognizant win their opponent's pick, and they do send us to that 3rd and final map.
They do send us to the 3rd and final map, Hazza, but one thing that we do have to say, Cognizant, well, it was a pretty tough map, even though they made the early lead. Clique getting those margins smaller and smaller, closer and closer. That's both maps being won out 13-9 by either team. Moving into the last one, split. Anything could happen.
It's split as well, right? And this is a map which, when we look at attack-defender bias, can lean quite into that defender's side.
Yes.
Not too sure who will be starting on which end, but the bigger thing for me here is that we saw Clique on that less preferential defender's side for Fracture, because they took a while to get going. Only brought in 3 rounds in the end for it to finish 9-3, and I do worry for them. They're a team that plays a lot on that confidence game. And when they are not feeling confident, you can see it. Cognizant made the absolute most of it and battled brilliantly throughout the game to now bring us to a 3rd. We may have missed the first, but we're getting 2 maps at the very least, because this is going down to the wire.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't think it was the most efficient way of playing Fracture from both teams, but I'll tell you what, it was an absolute slobber knocker for that map.
A doozy.
Yeah, it was a doozy.
Put it.
Yeah, exactly.
So there we have it, right? That is the second map that we've seen. Split will be coming up after a break. It's a 10-minute break, as I've just been indicated by text. Thank you very much, sir. And yeah, when we return, we will have Split coming up for you. But 13-9 on Ascent for Clique. That wasn't their pick. This wasn't their pick either, it seems, if you're Cognizant, because they win that one 13-9. We'll see you after the break.
places.
Welcome back to EPIC38. We are back again for the final match of Clique versus Cognizant. We've gone all the way to gone through Fracture, all the way to Split. It was difficult, man. They were so excited to play that they just went off and did the first map. And here we are, right? We got at least 2, right? It's what we were owed anyway. Yeah. So we're getting the full distance. Going to Split, we'll be packing up and sending one of these teams home. It's all on the line, and I really don't know where I see this series going.
I don't either, Hazza. This series is a bit like my love life. We've got the Ascent, we've got the Fracture, and now we are finally on to the Split. Well, this is where we're going to see one of these two teams split from the tournament and potentially start packing up their things to go home.
That is brilliant. By the way, that is absolutely brilliant.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, looking at what the picks and bans here as well, I guess they banned out a haven, so you couldn't have that safe haven, and I'm sorry, but look, I'm here.
Listen.
I'll always be here, right? Yeah, Split as that final map. In terms of what agents we see coming through, are we expecting to see Xerath on the Raze again? Because I think that this is a big choice for them, but then looking at some of the other compositions that we've seen Cognizant bring through, we've had Cam playing Initiator on the K, for example. We've actually had Xerath on the Killjoy as well. I really don't know how I see this one working coming into the final map.
I think there's so many possibilities. We could even see a Neon realistically if you really want to go.
We could.
We could. Listen, I'm not. When it comes to this with these two rosters, right, it's what you feel most comfortable on, especially when you're in such a high stakes last map of a best of 3.
That's why I wouldn't play the Neon.
Yes,
and I don't think Neon is really an agent that sees too much viability on this map either. We haven't seen Split for a while, right? I think it's fair to say it's been out of the pool, but the Neon meta sort of came and went. You had it mostly through what was the old Optic roster, now NRG. That wasn't even really played on Split. You're looking towards Haven and Fracture like we just saw, but we saw the benefit of having that Neon comp, but we also saw the drawbacks, and a lot of that is from the defender's side. Split being such a defender-sided map, how can you make it work as well as possible without conceding a retake many times?
Yeah, that's a fairly good point, Haz. I was just kind of theory crafting about the possible.
I'll let you cook. You can stir the pot as much as you want.
Don't let me cook, bro. Listen, one thing that we have to talk about though is the Sentinels and the possibilities we're going to get there. We were talking about it yesterday on Split with Cypher having such importance on this map.
I think Cypher is big, not just for having the trap wires, the fact that they stay up globally, but also some of the setups that you can actually do with the spy cam. I like to have it in towards mid sometimes. You can use that as passive information and then combine your utility off it. Have a breach stun ready somewhere and a raise nade, something along those lines. Astra's been getting a lot of playtime on this map as well, so there's so many different avenues for synergy that both of these teams have the potential to tap into, but we'll have to see. Back to that Sentinel conversation in general though, it is then over to the attack, I think, where Cypher really comes to life on this map because of those cages, how you can play those lurks and just maintain A pressure a lot of the time, and with it being so difficult sometimes to get value out of your attack, being able to just keep that pressure off a little bit, I think will be very beneficial.
On top of that, Hazza, we've also got to talk about the fact that we've been seeing a lot of double controller. I mean, the Viper and the strengths is almost like, do you play Cypher or do you play Viper? Because they essentially play the same role with that luck, and that's something that one of these two teams will have to consider as we get into it.
I think it's different for every team, right, and the different roles that you have, and I think this is one of the sort of beautiful, brilliant, but bad sides of Beacon, is that sometimes with all of these roster changes, you get people playing off roster role. I mean, this is the first time that we've seen Kurt playing duelist for Clique. He was always that initiator guy.
Yeah.
He was filling in similar roles to what we saw Stokesy doing. But for E-Masters, ages ago, back now on Insight as well, another one of those teams in the lower bracket. How are Clique going to be feeling if they do manage to make it out of this one into their next game? Because you've got a team like Insight waiting for you. Both of those first seed, well, in the top 2 seeds of the tournament. As we go into Agent Select, we will have those suspicions confirmed. And yeah, Clique have all the parts to the puzzle. They will be going for the Killjoy instead of the Cypher. Not too much of a surprise for Rex, but Cognizant are playing the Cypher and the Killjoy and the Chamber. Oh my goodness.
I know it's defender-sided, guys, but come on, you know what I'm saying? It's a bit overkill, but I don't know. I feel as if you're missing out on a lot when you don't bring the Raze. Do you know what? Comfortability. We had a conversation yesterday about Duelist versus Chamber, and then we watched the Chamber on 1 HP get a triple kill.
Mate.
Listen, I'll never question it again, ever.
I mean, yeah, when Azzy's playing it, of course, he is him after all. He is Chamber.
Guy.
But I want to get myself a pair of binoculars right now so I can look across the LAN hall and see the faces on those Clique players as they realise that Cognizant have decided to bring out 3 of the 4 available Sentinels. This is an entire bracket of agents, Cairo, and they have 75% of them in their composition.
Yeah, bro.
They say sometimes as well, attack is the best defence, and if you can't be flexible on both sides, that is where I worry about the merits of this comp.
Listen, when we look towards what's going to happen here, it is that that question of what's it going to be like when we move on to the attack.
What's the baseline, right?
Because at this point in time, Cognizant now are having to get, as you would in any half, but have to get as many rounds as possible on this half specifically. If we see Cognizant start to fall to the wayside when you have 3 Sentinels on a defence, I will start to worry.
I think you want like 8 or 9 rounds. And I'm not even joking when I say that. A 7-5 half would not be pretty coming into the attack. Yeah, we already spoke about how these agents can be good on a lurk. Zeref sends the turret out immediately, trying to take the fight. You don't want to lose your Sentinel player in the first engagement, but when you have 2 more of them, I don't know if it's such a problem.
Yeah, the problems, although, might be coming through. The first Headhunter bullet volleyed off, and it seems if the KG setup has been dealt with. The retake, though, very, very quick, or at least an attempted retake. There's not even a full rotate through the other side of the map, and Clique already in full control. We say this a defender side in map Hazza, but, well, what's the post plant going to be like?
It's into the retake as well. Really not much going. Walty not making the most of the breach utility. Teammates already fallen before they have the chance to assist. And or whatever Cognizant were brewing, maybe the fumes that have left that mixture are shrouding their judgment, as this hasn't turned out to be the best opening of what was a very interesting craft.
It was interesting, and well, I mean, it's not too much. I always think that pistol rounds are a little bit of a coin flip sometimes.
This is true.
You know, so it's not a real judge of character.
Yeah, these are the small margins you want to be sent your way, though. The idea from Cognizant,
100%.
and now looking at how they're trying to play it, simply seems to be we have one of the main Sentinels towards both sides. You're not playing Chamber in the role that you would expect of him. He's going aggressive, looking for mid-control, and here is a little early pressure. Cognizant inside the smoke. Clique outside, but they're not quite aware of this.
They aren't aware, and they're already dropping off. Maybe the pressure that they've put on has already come up. Truck gets one, but he's already been dealt a lot of damage with 2 players more. War to swing. Can they find it? No, they can't. Cuts completely. Struck them down.
Kurt leaves them slain, and now it's up to Cam. In through mid, like I said, he has to be that pin in the center of this Cognizant defense, being held together by 2 steel beams, but the middle was paper thin there. I mean, he's really, really difficult position to try and get anything done, so you can't lay blame on him, and this isn't the investment either. Just looking for exits, any damage dealt, and or even Clique trying to maximize every advantage they can get. Give Rex his lockdown as soon as possible so that into the next you have more opportunities. Zeref has found one onto Jamie, but that will be it.
Yeah, it is all she wrote for this round. Clique We'll be happy with what they've got through and towards the next. Certainly the fact that there's a Phantom there, a Bully as well, and then you've got a couple of Spectres, and when there's close corners like there is on Split, we've already seen what a Spectre can do, Hazza.
That we have. We have a Phantom in the hands of Rex as well. He loves to go for this big investment on the first couple early rounds, but look how many extra credits are still sat in the back pocket. Yeah, Jamie's on a Ghost, but Clique have a real opportunity to punch a stamp of authority here and move one step closer towards that next round of lower bracket games. Kurt already so far up in mid. This space being conceded. The fact that Cognizant are playing through those two Sentinels on both sites means that you're stripped for options when it comes to how you defend the middle of the map, which on Split is imperative as to how the hold works and the rotations come through.
Look at this though. Look at exactly what's happening here. It is somewhat, I was about to say, vulnerable to that Vent's position, but Xerath completely taken out. Cam to the overswing, it certainly seems likely as Rex is there. But the trade is found in terms of the man count.
Look at the setup as well. Cog actually have both did have both of those de facto Sentinel players towards A. That allows Xerath to go for that more aggressive peek in towards mid. Was playing Raze on the previous map, but maybe needs to lock into the Killjoy mentality for now. An opportunity for Walty to splay a through down, but Clique are able to pick up the kills. This was not the round that they're tipped to win, at least in terms of weaponry, and Cognizant not looking too great from this position. You got to go for it.
What did we say at the start of the round? The start of the map, sorry. We have to see Cognizant win at least by 8 or 9. We have to see Clique. I mean, the maximum they can be allowed to win 4 or 3 has a. And they've already met the third at this moment in time with the way this post plan's looking.
I think that was maybe me being a little bit blunt, but at the same time, the fact is, when you have a setup like that to work with on your defender's side, you have to make the most of it on Split. But I think going back to the fact that it is Split, mid control is really important. This is the reason why you don't see teams playing a comp like it, because there's nothing really to hold down the midsection of the map. You had Xerath going hunting for any kind of information. They conceded Mail within the first couple seconds because Kurt had already gone flying through. And yeah, just looking on the replay, it's an overpeak. You need these guys to be anchoring the sites and then just giving that freedom to Cam, also giving the freedom to Walty and Soldier. They need to be the ones in the midsection of the map, not your Sentinel.
But on top of that, Hazza, this is why you have the strengths of Raze come through and why she's so important on the likes of Split. We look at it in terms of the kind of the paint shells, for instance. That's the way we should go with the conversation I wanted to bring up. I mean, the space denial that brings, and also the kind of little fear that you put straight into the hearts of your opponents. Because say, for instance, you have that Raze nade go into, for instance, A ramp, right? You send it down there and you start going for it. I mean, do you swing it? You have to re-clear it, essentially.
That you do. Cognizant have got a couple of rifles here in towards the next round, and we'll have to see what they can do with it. I mean, Clique still aren't fully bought. You do have the Bulldog in the hands of Whisk, Peter on the Spectre as well. Not too sure what they want to try and do here. Clique haven't even really needed to show us the breadth of what this double controller setup can really do, have they?
I mean,
you have that toxic screen across A to fake presence. We've not seen the A hit come through from Clique just yet.
We haven't, Hazza. But on top of that, like, it's one of those scenarios again where it's like where we start to bring out the cliches, and it's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, why would Clique ever change up what they're doing? Because they're being fed the kills that's meant to become that.
It's overextensions more than anything else. Like I said on the previous round, you have Xerath trying to take a peek in towards Vent, an unnecessary peek. But I mean, even then, it looked like he could have won the fight because I don't think Whisk was prepared for it. It's just, those high pressure moments maybe now where Cognizant are falling short, because you look at the previous map, they are a map down on their opponent's pick, right? You play into 2 duelists and go confident. This is the polar opposite. You've got 3 very defensively minded agents. Maybe not Chamber, but you've got 3 Sentinels. You're inviting that pressure. They're going for peaks and not winning out because the engagements are so low.
I even think Killjoy and Cypher's a bit overkill, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think when you've got a defender-sided map and the kind of general consensus is you only play one of the two, you bring in double, it is overkill.
It's what I said in the pre-game as well, because you have a situation where you just don't need it, I don't think, and there's a reason why teams don't play it. You have it one sentinel for both sides, I guess, and it's more about when you go to the attack, and the point that I was making about sometimes the best defense is a good attack, and you need to be bringing at least something there. Right now, it's not been too inspiring, but there's a foundation from which they can build when things do swap over. And we were also speaking about lurks, right? How good Pate would be on the lurk playing that Cypher. Yeah. You then have Xerath probably also filling into a similar role. What can Cam do? He's going to be looking to go aggressive on that chamber. You're effectively playing him as the duelist here. It's just an amalgamation of probably a little too many ideas for us to get a result that's going to be favourable for Cognizant.
It's a shame, though. It's a shame after having such a great map in that last one. And do you know what is even more unfortunate? What? Not being able to see Ascent. Because if we saw Ascent, we'd have a real gauge or gauge gauge. Is it gauge?
Gauge. It's a gauge. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like a cage, a cyber gauge.
Oh God! Why? Why? Do you know I've had
Look,
to put up with this all
left
weekend?
us here. They've left us here too long. Xerath or Pate's gone to restart the PC. He didn't want to hear that joke actually because he's playing Cypher.
Tex is just gone out. No, I shouldn't say that. Tex is still here. He's present. I was going to say Tex has gone on wander. We just decided that we wanted to ramble. So we did. Yeah. We're not going to break. Don't look at me. We're not breaking. We're going to keep going.
No, we will keep going. I mean, this is the thing, right? We didn't get that first map of Ascent, so we're borrowing as much time as we possibly can.
Listen, I'm saying this. If Rook and Winter are getting as many maps as they're getting, we're going to take some time back off them. We're going to take some back.
How many one-sided affairs did we end up seeing yesterday?
My God.
We started off with a 13-1.
And how many bangers did they get, by the way? I'm putting in a...
Look.
Do you know what? No, much love to those guys because they've been killing it.
Yeah,
it's the first time that they've been casting together and I've been thoroughly impressed.
Oh, I'm very impressed. I mean, Rook is an EPIC38 veteran.
GOAT.
This is like his 6th event now as well.
That's why he's the GOAT.
He's that guy. According to the EPIC38 Twitter, I'm the GOAT. So, I mean, the word GOAT gets thrown around a little too much these days.
Especially when you catch it. Like, come on now. Come on.
Oh, dear. If you were the GOAT, would you... Would you want to be called the GOAT?
No.
More like a Highland mountain goat or something. Do they have mountain goats up in Scotland?
Yeah.
They do?
Yeah, come on, it's Scotland. Like, we have everything.
I've not been into the Highlands before.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
you want to go on a little date? We'll go around the mountains.
Oh, God.
No?
Look at this. He's already trying to... Listen, I've rejected you before. I don't want to have to do it on broadcast.
True.
I'm sorry, mate.
For everyone in chat, if you're watching right now, put a smiley face, a semicolon and a closed parentheses. I want to see as many smiley faces as possible when I check the VOD back later on.
Yeah, when we're doing our VOD review and we slaughter our own casting.
Yeah. I don't think this is one of the things as a caster that you simply can't VOD review. I mean, we just sat here, But going back to the game just quickly, we did sort of break apart. It's so hard to transition. We got apparently there's a 3-minute delay on chat, so I'll get my phone out now. The point I was going to make is that we are only 3 rounds in. We have to remember that Cognizant can make a resurgence, and they've bought into this one as well. And in fact, they are ready, so we don't have to worry. We can actually get back into this and be saved the trouble. We've been given a 3-2-1. Never mind. It sits with production, but we will be getting back into the game shortly.
Yeah, we certainly will. I was like, when you said, anyway, going back to game, I was like thinking of the Sky Sports Super Sunday that we were talking about earlier. Anyway, over to you, Hazza.
Yeah. Thank you very
much. And I believe there's something happening in the Cognizant Clique game.
And I believe Kurt has taken some space up mid. He's got the boom bot.
Has he?
Nice flash. Has he? Well, with how the duration's been halved, the boombot's barely anything of note anymore. It's not even going to clear out Cam's position. So this is a nice setup. Has the rendezvous and the judge to try and work with. We've got Xerath going for a couple junk peaks, and I think this strikes a decent balance between going for that aggressive information and, just sitting back and playing what your role is in the team.
Well, this might be we've talked about Route 1 Valorant, Hazza. We've talked about Sky Sports News and all that. I mean, we may as well call this 3 at the back for Cognizant with the way that they've got the Sentinels lined up. The thing is, though, we are seeing the entry in towards site. They've not completely anticipated that. The flick is better. Remember, Kurt was low on HP. It goes even on the trades. But finally, the death blow comes through. The punch, the killer blow. They finally have a chance, but so does Jamie.
Oh, Cognizant just looking to take the jugular.
Don't peek.
Instant response. They heard every single one of the criticisms we had for them on that extended desk break as the PC was restarted. And here we go. The killer blow could come from Clique. If Jamie wins this, the confidence will be at an all-time low for the defending team. But Soldier's on and doesn't allow it to happen. Finds the kill, and that's Cognizant's first, just when they needed it.
Well, Hazza, I don't know if I like to set up there, but I'll tell you something, it worked, and that's the key thing from the side of Cognizant. Having Soldier just watch in from CT could have easily let Jamie get by, but they got the kill nonetheless.
I think a big part about how that round was played differently by Cognizant was that they weren't making any sloppy decisions anymore. I'm actually starting to see how this comp should be played. You've got Walty in a supporting role for Cam, who's sitting in that male position in mid. There isn't a KO to deny or really anything to counteract what this Rendezvous can offer, so he can post up on a more aggressive angle, get the most out of his kit. You have those 2 Sentinel players on the site in the form of the Cypher and the Killjoy. And by just buying more time for the rotates to come through, then you've got Soldier and Walty to get involved with the action. And you have a team fight, right? You're playing off of one another as you should.
Yeah, and now at this moment in time, this is where we're going to see the Viper come into effectiveness the most. This Cypher Cam just all the way down in screens is going to completely miss out on all the information as Jamie waited for that smoke screen to be back, the toxins to be at full 100, and now they're going to start to move through, clear out the close spaces. But do Clique think it's just one player or just 2?
Don't know.
Oh, they're going to know now, Hazza. That's the third
do.
bit of util. Walty's there, gets one. Here we go, the util coming out, but you can't bring your util out when there's guns close by. Rex looking in towards mid, gets taken out. Advantage towards Cognizant.
And that's such a big kill for Cam as well, because it's made this rotate so much more strenuous. If you are Clique, trying to move through from Vent, Rendezvous still up. Cam with another duel that he can take, quickly snaps away from the fight. Players moving up on his position, not able to deal with them. 2 versus 2. The site's still under control. You have the Killjoy with all her U2 still in place, using the Cosmic Divide to split things up yet again. Xerath moving in behind. Wisp not aware of it. Just at the correct time. Kill being found. Xerath getting both. 2 for him, 2 for Cognizant. They bounce back and double up.
That is absolutely massive from Xerath. It cannot be understated enough from what they were able to do. Look at these frags. Look at exactly how it kind of all came through. It was all by playing together and controlling the entries that Clique were trying to do.
Yeah. The picture is beginning to build of what Cognizant could create on this map. You have your Killjoy, you have your Cypher, and then Walty, Soldier, and Cam are mixing around in the middle, and it is spewing out success. A full investment, and Cam now on an operator, so this is even another step up as to what his potential could be. In fact, they've moved the Killjoy over to join the Cypher on A, and he will just post up on this angle. Boombot's never clearing that.
That is going to be a lockdown coming through, remember, Cam. Oh. That is a Rolling Thunder.
Oh,
it seems
wow.
They're so in.
Oh,
I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I like that. No, this is not good.
Oh, no.
This is
what
not good.
is going on? Cam has Rendezvous still out in the open. Wasn't placed to escape from the situation. There's no support. A Rolling Thunder invested. A peek taken by Soldier. All the while, the spike is going down on A.
Spike planted.
Have a lockdown of their own to recommit, and Clique pressed back in the site. But, I mean, even then, look, you've got Kurt coming in from B on this really, really late flank. Rolling Thunder of their own to push spawn, but it's not even fully capitalized. They will just sit back and use it to halt things.
Oh, the spam as well takes out Patty.
What is going on?
This Hazza, I think we're watching, do you know what? I don't even know what we're watching. Rex will take out Walty, and there's only one player left. Xerath just decides, do you know what? I am not committing to this. I am outie.
Is this Gaming XD versus John Howard? I thought we were promised the Clique Cognizant game.
That's terrible. That's terrible. There is a lot of question mark decisions there. I understand. I can somewhat understand that the cam overstaying because there's 2 extra players on site to help out if they do get. But like even at that, like I don't know, man.
Yeah, we have the ult coming in deep from heaven. Soldier looking to try and take some space, and if you win out the duel there, because the lockdown was used for a fake, you break the lockdown and the round is suddenly looking really good. But it was the fact that he was left unsupported and that Cam didn't double up and go for the push as well. Then the really questionable rendezvous inside the radius of the ult. I guess if you're not expecting a push to come off the back of it, then you know you don't have to worry about it. But even then, I mean, the reason why I made the joke about John Howard Gaming XD is because they said to us that the game would be quite messy, but yeah, this one is delivering on that front as well, it seems.
Not only that, though, there was the post-plant that we can talk about maybe another time. We won't talk about it for the time being. We'll talk about this mid-control that Clique have immediately taken away from Cognizant.
Yeah, it's a good thing that they've not hired additional analysts for this tournament because they would be having an absolute ridiculous time. I mean, I don't know what you would call it.
Certainly it would be fun. You know what else is going to be fun? Walking
this
into a judge.
Yep. Oh yeah,
the
stun is there, the stun is late, and well, actually they don't want to go for it. Oh, trying to play off the back of it for the orbital strike, but not catching anyone. Pate now about to have his hands full. Bulldog spray through the smoke. Not the strongest of positions. Zera finding one and then cut out of the equation. B now gaping open. Right now, if you're Clique, you know that there's 2 big targets. You take the Killjoy or Cypher, and that will be your site control collected.
Site control collected, yes, but the lockdown down for Cognizant. They won't be able to use it this round. Spy cam's still available if they want to try and at least clear a corner on towards the site. There's also lots of other ultimates available, like the Tour de Force already used, and a Neuro Theft to actually gain big information. Well, there's information thrown straight away. Peter getting 3 on the round.
Pate getting taken out. Cam as well, next in the firing line. Walty, the only remaining player, and Clique Esports just playing keep away, holding back on all of those angles, not trying to peek into this one, and Peter should have Walty's number. He does. The counterpart found. 4 for Peter. Clique up to 5, and Cognizant playing passive yet again. From this situation, Pate, no utility to play off. All of it is still towards the A area of the map into the rotate. And I think that's the worst part about bringing this composition. If you lose one of your sentinels on the opposite side of the map and you have to retake him with no setup, it's just such a horrible position to be in because it's really, really difficult to get back into that site. You said you have a spy cam, but I think that pretty much just scratches the surface.
I mean, this timeout that's coming through from Cognizant, and it sounds, I don't want to be like horrible or anything, but I
think it's much needed.
Yeah,
good use of the timeout.
Yeah, but what I was going to say is, realistically, right, when they're doing the retakes, etc., what you have the breach and. I mean, as you're saying, what else is there? You essentially need a lockdown. You need the spy cam to get a lot of information, but the clearing utility that you have, I mean, you have the molly from the brim?
I think the best way for Cognizant to play this, as I said before, would either be having a sentinel on both sites or playing through mid a lot more. And I think you could probably get Pate's cam in towards vent or mail, like I said. You know, one of the benefits of having this agent on the defensive side is that you can get the cam in pretty decent positions towards mid then. Play the util for vents and even double up with Zerif on B because the A retake is a lot more forgiving in that department and the lockdown will work well for it. But here we go, an aggressive peek from the Killjoy to try and find something. Faultline forces him off the angle and will just sit back in the site, but because this is an eco, doesn't even have the utility which merits the agent.
Well, moving through now as they get in towards the site, already flashed out. Just it's the only thing that we've seen, but there's nothing in terms of actual rifles. Cognizant really playing for this retake. The lockdown obviously available.
I'm loving this flank coming through as well. Xerath on the front lines with 3 Sheriff shots, snapping them together. Rex responds, 3 of his own, and just as it felt like the heroics of one individual would be enough, the rest of the team collapse on the back end. I was looking towards the flank. That was the downfall. The man himself gave them a chance, but it's one which is squandered.
It's almost like watching a car, which has this amazing engine at the front, and it's going, and then the next thing you know, the wheels come off, the suspension goes, and the car just hits the ground. That's exactly what it was. But the thing is, so again, another caveat, we have to bring it back. It was an eco, but Clique reached 6. One more, and they're guaranteed an advantage in towards the defensive half.
It's like the bodywork of an Audi R8 with a golf cart inside it. You know, it's difficult to work. Or I guess the gamer equivalent would be, you know, it's got an overclocker's case and it's got an i3 inside it. But here we have it anyway, into the next round. That was an eco. That was an eco for Cognizant, right? So there are still ideas here, but I think the fact that they were so overly reliant on individual heroics to turn around makes things difficult. Really interesting Viper's Pit towards B Heaven. I like this idea. It means that this is now an area which Cognizant can't challenge. They don't want to touch it. They hold back from a distance. You've got Walty playing spawn. Cam is posted up aggressive.
But Hazza, look at this, right? This could be a crunch in towards me and the KJ, just leaving out ever so slightly.
You're worried that a player has slipped through towards stairs, which is why you post up there. Cam takes one, still has the rendezvous. Not using the eject button soon enough, and Rex will send him from his feet. 4 versus 4. Lockdown still in play. Could be good for the retake, but Xerath is the one who has the site under siege. How many times have we seen him not be able to get value out of this ultimate and sit it in the back pocket? Because he's the one with all the work to do on his hands. Can't find it this time. Cleanest of peaks from Peter. And Clique have the site for themselves. Now the Viper's Pit is huge, and Jamie just takes that kill back.
You could see it happening straight in front of your eyes. You just saw Walty, you saw the Viper's Pit and did not stop moving. The delay now, the fact that they're going to have to be funneled in through CT, and we know what that's like. That's a supreme chokehold. Clique's post-plant Hazza is sublime.
This use of the Viper's ultimate becomes so much better when you have control of main and the rest of the site, because this is an ultimate which you could have probably put late into the round, right? But they have it now. So many players just queuing up to peek in. I don't think there's any way out for Cognizant. Can't do it. 7-2 Clique lead now. 1 away from securing the rounds we were hoping Cog would be able to find on the half, which looked to benefit them the most. And the ideas that they presented proving to be, I think, the reason why we don't see comps like this introduced too often.
I think as well, when we look towards this, it starts to slowly become a narrative change after that last round to become a narrative of Cognizant trying to do some damage control and see what they can do on the attacking half.
I think as well, we have read into the majority of this analysis being focused on the comps. I think it's very difficult not to. But when you also look at the team play and what the setups actually are, I don't know how much Cognizant have pracked together with this lineup, but Clique look very well oiled. They have these different set plays that they can enact. You're never going to get the same kind of value regardless of agent choice if you're not bringing those combinations together.
I think as well, we're also focusing a lot on Cognizant as if they're the ones who are the top seed at the upper hand. Realistically, it's Clique who, again, they're just showing their strengths. And the strengths come through again and again. Another first blood, another entry pick, and potentially a second to add to that.
Soldier hits his head on the door frame on the way out. It costs him a lot of health, and the amount of velocity in which it was able to dissuade things slowing down, and for Cognizant as well. It was 2 rounds in a row that they found foot off the gas pedal now, and the pressure alleviated from Clique. They can breathe for a moment and things start to feel more relaxed, and as you relax, you feel confident. You can also feel complacent. That leaves a chance for Cognizant to find something here, but still the retake a difficult one. Soldier needs a ridiculous timing, and just lining up the kills one by one. There we have it. Team Ace, everyone in Clique involved. 8-2.
I mean, I don't want to keep what can you do? What can you actually do?
What can you do? Right.
At this point, the only thing that you can do as a bare minimum is win one more round. It's the 9-3 cards, blah, 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 whatever you want to say. The bare
more? 8-4, go on.
Yeah, I know. I was just going to say, like, I'm just saying as a bare minimum, like, as a...
Throw around for the 9-3 cards.
Yeah, like a minimum baseline for Cognizant at this moment in time has to be one more round.
I think it's a minimum baseline for this game to be playable, if winnable, irrespective of what the comp even looks like at that point in time, right? And we're starting to see now the full investment. Walty and Cam moving up mid together, getting that op into an aggressive angle. I love this from them. We haven't seen it enough, and I think that's one of the reasons why they haven't had as much success. Walty goes the extra step further, finds a kill, but it's traded out. Pate also dropping in the B defense. This one not looking as good. Cosmic Divide goes up. You can bring a lockdown in, but it just means that when Clique choose to get out, they have those positions available for them, and it's a lot healthier. Might even be saving because the op is here, no. Yeah,
it's 4 versus 3 in a post plant. The op obviously in the back pocket. Jamie is just waiting.
Here comes the lockdown.
Yeah, Jamie's just been seen. Xerath needs support here, although, they've been stunned up. And there's some vulnerable, is going to be Soldier. Lockdown destroyed. Everything going wrong here as the gravity well comes through just to deny the plant. There is also going to be the smoke, the utility coming through, the spam as well. There we are. All the bullets through the body, all the utility placed on the mark that they need to. Soldier on about 1 HP. And well, Clique on 9 rounds.
There are layers to this game, Cairo, and as Clique peel them back, reality begins to set in. They're a strong team for a reason. They've not come here to muck around, and Cognizant are struggling now. They really are. Not looking like the same team that they were on that second map of Fracture. They've gone from an aggressive style to a very defensive one, and it has not been paying off. How many isolated duels did we even see taken in that previous round? You know, we were calling, begging to see a little bit more unity from them, and their ideas were there. Walty and Cam pushing up mid together, but then just over-aggressing a tiny bit extra. The kills found, and just players isolated yet again. Final round of the half now, and we see the toxic screen invested once again to create that A control that Clique look to bounce from.
Now, as we slowly see Clique approach forwards, trying to assault in towards Heaven. The spike just sitting outside of me. No one's fully committed yet.
Do you have that trademark in towards mid from Cam as he's playing B main? This is a very interesting setup, but I do like it. It means that Rex on this flank, it will probably not be as dangerous as bullets go traded between them. Clique have taken so much control from this Heaven position. They're starting to move towards looking like hitting the site, but this has also given time for Cognizant to adjust and move through. Xerath is 1 point of health.
It's not only that, it's just like, what chance do you have? Soldier just left there. Kurt's even going to use the showstopper.
I think they might be going B, actually.
Yeah, it looks likely. There is only the Cypher to engage here.
You have Rex pincering in from Mail as well, taking full control of Heaven. Pate all the way deep in Spawn with the Spectre. And I think that is the true visualization of the hopelessness that is setting in for Cognizant now. Cam rendezvousing out in the open, taken out flawless. This is becoming a romp. The wall pulled from behind the eyes of Cognizant here, and it is just such a one-sided affair at this point in time. We were maybe hoping that Cognizant could pull out a 10-2 if this was to look doable for them, but it's Clique that are going to get that number from their attacking half.
It's on split as well, Hazard. That's the big thing. I don't want to read into it too much.
The narrative is there, right? The narrative is certainly there. Clique,
it's been laid out in front of us.
Clique are the stronger team on paper, but Cognizant did show us something that gave a little bit of promise. They're going to have to do a hell of a lot more if this one is to be overturned, and it starts with the pistol. Every single hope that they have is relying upon this round and its outcome.
Listen, you know what Dory says, Hazard? Just keep swimming. Just keep playing your rounds. I don't know about
just keep playing your rounds.
Yeah,
Who do you think door remains? Harbour, perhaps? It would make sense.
It would make sense, but you understand what I'm trying to say. You just have to keep going. You just have to keep grinding and focusing on one round at a time. As Cognizant look to execute in towards B, Clique already responding by focusing in towards main.
And they're going with everything that they've got. Whisk using the Nebulas to just sit behind Pillar. Cam able to trade that kill out. And Pate has found a big one on the lurk towards A. The spike has been committed towards the site and will be planted. And Pate needs to scramble towards this one. They know about the positioning, so Cognizant need to hold on to it, defend with their life. They know about Rex now as he's come out through main. Pate finally arriving, but Cam does it all himself. 3 for Cognizant. It's something. They're going to need a whole lot more.
They are going to need a whole boatload more. A cargo boat potentially. T-side in map, Cam asks him. Potentially.
Do those cargo boats deliver to a dentist?
Yeah,
a dentist, a kid with braces that likes to shake bags?
I think the thing that we have to see about this is certain maps have a bias, right? For instance, Split has a defender bias, but that is just there is sometimes where we see exceptions to the rule. Hazard could we be seeing an exception here?
I really thought you were going for another Finding Nemo punch then, but I mean, I guess we'll have to see. Maybe, just maybe, the triple Sentinel agent select has played into Cognizant's offensive ambitions, and here they go. Another B execute, all 5 players with Cam leading the line yet again. Jamie not cleared out. Doesn't want to challenge the spike plant, in fact respects it. Looks for Xerath when he's at his weakest, not having the gun out, but it does go traded. I suppose when you go to plant, actually, you're more vulnerable once the spike has just gone down rather than actually initially there, but that's out the window now. Cognizant's still looking vulnerable from this position, and it is not planted from them. There is a stun, but look at the damage. 1 player left and 2 points of health for Soldier. Just about carries on, but they do claim the round. At what cost, Cairo Cast?
Listen, it's something that we see. I've seen it plenty of times and we're like, at what cost did that round, you know what I mean, get over the line? But see, if you're Cognizant, you don't care how you get it over the line, you care that you get over the line. I mean, this is a big investment in towards this round, but it's also putting themselves in a prime position to, again, get it over the line.
For Cognizant, it has to be perfection anyway. You can't really afford to give away too many rounds, so forget about your bonus. It's a full invest. This is the gun round. We've got it one earlier than we thought we would, but here it is. They need to turn that result. It's Cam yet again. He is just playing that duelist role like he was on the Neon, but instead it is the Chamber. Flicks away from the flash and finds the kill. Soldier follows it up. This is the unity we wanted to see from their defenders' side, but when those defenders turn attackers, something changes inside of them, which just gives that bite back. Walty finds another. 4-2, looking for a 5th.
You also had that lock outside of A if they wanted to cut noise and go. Rex, though, maybe going to make the same mistake from the KG on the last half.
Yeah, it's a complete repeat. And Pate's actually now moved away, so he will be the knife in the back of Rex. Spots out the player, avoids the stun. Nicely done from Rex to get 2 done. Drops the spike as well, and now this is so winnable. Only needs to isolate the fights. Walty was left alone. He will get it done, but that was incredibly cagey for what should have been a cleaner Cognizant round.
Now, the trampoline has come out.
It certainly has. I mean, it just shows how strong Rex is individually as well, and what a step up he's made into this game.
100%, 100%, and this is the thing. We need everybody to step up in this series. We don't want Clique to start to let it go, but on the other side of the half, Cognizant, I mean, we don't want them to kind of just fade away. I mean, they've put in 3 big, massive rounds. Do not let this go, because they're white-knuckling their grip and staying in this series.
Have to remember, they were a map down, came into Fracture, their opponent's pick at a disadvantage. Some teams just have the mental resilience to play from that underdog position. Cam is going to be on the tour de force this time around. Jamie just sat behind the poison cloud, tucked away with the Bucky. Would be almost impossible for the Chamber player to find it. Xerath doesn't know about Whisk, placed the Nebula, crossed over to the other side, hasn't been spotted by the turret. There's lots of very close and dangerous angles that could be problematic for Cognizant into this low invest. There's barely even a buy. There's only a couple of guns across the board. They have to be thematic about this and can't just bundle in as they have done on the couple.
Well, first couple of frags has gone through. Xerath at least gets an extra one, so there's the advantage. And Cognizant are thinking to themselves, well, if there's one more player, particularly with a judge, this could be extremely vulnerable for us to walk into. Big spy cam to spot out where the KG is.
And Pate's now set that precedent of playing outside of A. He's actually lured Rex fully back in. Kurt will even come to join him. It's only Peter now to defend towards B, and with the judge playing up close, trying to stay alive, the Sky Smoke actually buys him a little bit more space and time. Pate in the middle really doesn't want to get found out here and won't. There's the first on towards Kurt. Wants to get a little bit more for his efforts, and Clique have to worry about this flank. Rex in behind does take him out, and now they have a chance with a lockdown online.
Yeah, the lockdown's online, Hazza, but time is starting to really tick away. On top of that, there is KG utility and the likes.
Playing 3 main with the orbital strike. That's what they got to do. You got both nanos to try and use. I don't think we're going to see the lockdown here. They are just trying to slowly bite this one away. There's the shot from Cam. Just playing the long angles. The setup is perfect. They get both. Cognizant 6 now.
They get 6, Hazza. They get 6, but there's still 4 more to go before they close the gap. And well, here it is. We're actually seeing a Cognizant timeout.
Yeah. I'm not too sure how I feel about the Cognizant timeout here, Cairo. What are your thoughts on their use of it here? I mean, we have seen a few principles from them already. That round could really have, nearly have been dangerous. Clique had the setup in towards Heaven. They had the shotguns. They were playing the close angles, but it was navigated brilliantly. It seems as if they are just playing through Cam right now, who's on a bit of a hot streak, to try and get them those openers in certain areas of the map, and then just look for that late execute with Pate playing some fantastic lurks towards A.
We've seen a few times on LAN where a couple of teams decide that even though they're on a hot streak, they want to use a timeout. Sometimes it's worked out, sometimes it hasn't, and I would actually say most of the time that it hasn't. Cognizant now, I mean, I actually can't theorise what it could be.
I think it is just to bring together some of the ideas. Think about what it is they've done, what's worked so far, and perhaps what Clique expect. By the other edge of the sword, you have to be thinking it's given Clique a little bit of time to think about what they've seen from Cognizant and whether they expect a breakaway from that conditioning or not. It's a full buy for both teams. Kurt has bought into an operator as well. Been fairly quiet so far this game, but I mean every single player on Clique is going positive because of how that first half ended up.
Now in the second half, it's been a real tale of 2 halves already. The fault line. This is going to be a quick A. Already they're getting straight through and on towards the site. Rex is there to somewhat engage. We're also going to get an orbital strike to clear out the site. There's been a lot of explosions, a lot of utility used, but there's nothing been quite found at this moment in time. Lockdown invested for the retake, but how far did they get pushed out?
It's not just that, it's the fact that the orbital strike was used in the execute, so you got rid of your trump card and that counterplay with the lockdown. They're forced completely out of the equation. The plant in the worst possible position. Should be an aftershock, and yeah, there is going to be a gravity well too, but Cognizant want to fight back. They use the Rolling Thunder to set towards the front foot. The util isn't there. Neither of the players, they're all wiped out. Clique find all 5, and they reduce that gap to closing out this series.
2 more to go. 5. The gap re-extended towards 5. Flawless on the round. And in terms of ultimates used, very, very expensive for Cognizant, you have to say.
Yeah.
Clique only used 1. That's all they needed to do. And then on top of that, they won it out. Just patience.
It leaves you scratching your head, right, from a Cognizant perspective, because they go into this timeout just to then send and execute straight into the A site. Yes, it's an area of the map which had been left untested from them, but then it's the use of the orbital strike, just being unaware of the lockdown from that position that Rex possesses. It's just these minute details which are coming back to bite them, because as well, you see what the setup was there before. They've been blistering through at pace and worried about clearing the corners. Jamie on the shorty. That's all it is. Has a rifle in hand, but it's the 150 credit weapon that claims the kill.
That's a Mulder right there.
It is.
Already, Jamie just continues to control the space, the entry in towards the pit. I mean, it's all the way down. Patty elsewhere, though.
That's a big kill, but Cam is gone, I think, as well. Something else to mention on to Jamie. Drops the pit. Just goes for it, right? Walks out into the open to take this aggression against the neural theft. Does fall. Xerath finds it. And Cognizant now enjoying a lot of space towards the A side of the map. They want to make this the late hit.
It's slowly starting to move through. In terms of what Clique have done, they've not really moved through too much. I mean, as we start to get to this scenario here, it really is do or die. Clique on not the greatest of health pools, but all it takes is one headshot, one clean swipe and one player gone. Clique can play for the Rolling Thunder on the retake.
But it looks like Cognizant are aware of this time around. The ultimate in play. They're going to set up differently. Xerath's already trying to challenge this close position. In comes the fault line. Out comes the Rolling Thunder, and the players are shifting one over. Xerath's managed to find a singular kill. The plant is towards main, so things still looking good here for Cognizant. And they do have a lockdown of their own. I can't see it getting invested. Rex puts the pressure on. Walty falls. Xerath for another and another. Quad kill from him to shut down Clique and move them up to a 7th.
Well, it really is just turning into this game between two teams that just do not want to give up. Obviously they don't. They want to get further and further, get as many points as possible from this tournament. And as you said, Hazza, lockdown now available from that last round, but there is the Cosmic Divide and even a showstopper to come out from Kurt.
I mean, people said with the Barbers and Le Petit Buffon gone, the teams in this tournament, the quality may have dipped by just a slight bit as the cream rises to the top, but I think it's fair to say we've seen some brilliant games all the way across the board. Yeah, it's a little off-brand with what Cognizant have introduced here, but hey, it does actually seem to be working out for them here on the attack. The lockdown brought through from what Xerath was able to create. This guy has had a really good series, but needs to find more of the same form, and just as it looks like Kurt may have been dwindling, comes back for a huge impact frag onto Pate, who'd been running rampant outside of A on the previous few.
Right, as these players start to stack outside, Kurt's going to have to go massive here. Going to have to at least find something, or maybe could just play passive. Wait for the teammates to help out, but I think the team's already here. Yeah. This is going to be a real haymaker swing.
Yeah, and if the knockdown gets placed in the corner as well, you have the fault line, you have the showstopper. Kurt can do some serious damage, and he will. Takes down Xerath and the lockdown with them. Really great usage of utility there from Clique, and yet again, it's that awareness. Cognizant not able to get it done, and even the aftershock isn't in place. A double flank coming through. Rex waiting in the back lines to punish, and will now come to find his kill. Soldier drops, the spike is down, crunching at both ends, and Cognizant have to send it forward through Cam as they always tend to do. Jamie stops it. Clique up to series point. 12-7, 5 now chances for them to see it through.
5 chances to get it over the line, and we were talking about Cognizant. All they needed to do, didn't matter how they won it, just as long as they did win it. Well, it just seems as if they've let their grasp go that little bit too much. Peter is on a judge. There is lesser buys all across the board for both teams, but the better of the two, Clique Esports, have it in the back pocket.
I don't even really mind the judge buy too much. I think on split is one of the best ways that it can be played, at least in the mid area, and that isn't even what we're seeing. Jamie's actually just posted up outside of A with it right now. Cam, the first point of contact. It really depends on whether Cognizant will be successful or not, is purely through if he can find those opening kills or not. Jamie's trying to break this trademark to just deny that information that they've been sending on through. Pate's moved away from A, but there's still so much utility on this B hit if that's where they want to go, and yeah, still just defaulting.
Now, as they slowly start to get towards this position, Xerath needs to get first, needs to get through here, at least destroys the turret, so contact taken. As Wish tries to peek out, find an opportunity, that opportunity is gone, but at the same time, Presence still kept outside of B, and it's a complete fake.
Yeah. The spike is getting ready to go towards A. There's not much util that you have to send B other than the face of Cam. You see him most wanted, and there's an idea that this might be where the execute happens. Rendezvous out, and still the green light's not been given to his comrades on A. Peter spotted in the corner, but he has the judge. Flashed out, utility there, but not enough to flush him from position. The execute must come in. There's 20 seconds left on the clock, and those remaining Cognizant players are still scrambling to get involved. Jamie's in place and looking to spray them down, but Cognizant win out. Still need to get the spike planted, and Pika is alive and kicking inside of this smoke. Finds one traded. Still a chance to deny, but the players are dwindling for Clique, and I don't think they're going to get it done. Cognizant will. 4 to go.
4 to go, the gap gets closer, but we've been here before when it gets to 4 between the two teams and then Clique re-extend, and if they extend this time, well, the deed is done and the game is over. Clique at least this time are on an eco. That will be something that Cognizant can feel happy with, but we've seen Clique do the work before on an eco.
If you look at what the cycle for economy will be here for Clique, if Cognizant pick this up, you have a buy round for 10, concede the 11th. There's only real 2 more chances for investment. For Cognizant, as we said, it has to be perfect the entirety of the way through. Paint shells to the corner and maybe catch one of those players off guard, but won't amount to anything. Cam yet again using that trademark to just create a pocket of space for the attacking team. And the amount of space that they have is very limited. Going for this A setup again as they did off the back of the timeout.
Now, as it looks, the gamble stack that Clique have went for hasn't quite worked out as the players slowly move away on towards B, sorry. Yeah. But the thing is, though, they've left 2 here, a double stack.
They have. It's the same play as what they did before. Have Cam show face towards one end of the map. The precedent is set that he's going to be your main initiator, and he does. Finds 2 kills. Spike now going through mid-vents to rejoin them on A and rejoice as Cam finds 3 on the round. Brilliant stuff from Cognizant to carve open the site. We now look to the next buy round. When's that going to come for Clique? No. That's going to be round number 9. And then, right, for them, at least, right? 9 for Cognizant.
Yeah, it comes in the next round.
Round 21 and then round 23 of the 24.
Yeah.
Looking at the replay here as well, you're seeing the kills from Cam coming in. I mean, he's just opening everything up for them right now.
Yeah, he really is. On top of that, everything that's happening it just seems as if, I don't know, it's a battle of 2 teams that they keep going for it. Cognizant just seem to be hitting the mark sometimes and not others. Whether they continue to get it going really does matter on the delay and the kind of war of attrition that does come through.
Whether Cognizant take this map or not, you have to give them some credit for what has been achieved with the very limited means they have on this attacking side coming into it. I don't think either of us foresaw this happening, or them at least finding as many rounds as they have once the halves have swapped over.
The half's quite not, I don't even know. It's going to be guaranteed overtime, so we are going to see Cognizant back on the defense, even if they get to that situation. But we are, even though it's only 3 rounds, we are far away from it at this point in time.
I mean, how do you rectify those problems even at that point? I guess it's a question for another time. We've seen Cam use the trademark in mid again, so it's more of that information, but the limited range does also mean that there could be a player posted up just to your left, and Whisk forced again away by these aggressive orbital strikes that Cognizant have used to open up the site, but there's still so much utility that they have to push through.
It's not only that, they're using aggressive orbital strikes, but at the same time they're paying not in dividends, they're not even being combined with anything, and you know what, the players aren't even looking the right direction. It is all but over at this time, unless Walty can come up with some heroics, the headshot there, but it's all over. Clique will progress through and meet the top seed of Insight Gaming.
You're just asking so much of Walty in that situation. Soldier looking the opposite direction, 13-9 as the score was on all 3 maps. We had that Ascent game at the start, in towards Fracture and then split. There was promise there for Cognizant, and I mean they delivered on it in a half sense, because I don't think there was really any chance that that attack should have even looked as close as it did, and that has to be something we will consider going into that next game that Clique have to play, because they still are looking a shadow of the expectations set by them, a shaky former self that still hasn't fully recovered from that previous match against Jokers.
Well, Hazard, moving in towards this next matchup against Insight. We were watching the game earlier we were watching the game earlier that they played against Control, and there was a few comments from players saying, oh, they think that Insight might be slightly moulding, Clique might be slightly moulding as well. This might be the mould matchup, if it to be said, but at the same time, if that's actually the case, we don't know, because Insight have had a massive break. So this next game, this next game that's going to be off stream, is going to be a big one.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to really keep up to date with what the bracket looks like, because there are a few other games going on as well. I'm not sure what the score in the Gaming XD John Howard game was. We spoke about it a little bit on broadcast and how much of a messy one that could have been. I have no idea who would end up winning that. Speaking to King Ass, he had said that, look, it was going to be a scrappy one either way, and yeah, that one hasn't concluded just yet. This one has, of course, so it will be Clique versus Insight. This is a game we were expecting to see in the lower final, I think, but it will be in the 4.1 slot instead. Then we have the loser of that upper bracket final, which is the next game on stream. Control Esports versus Next in Line. I think a few people perhaps would have had Control Esports making it towards the final in one capacity or another, but still not tipped to be favourites. Next in Line have done a brilliant job with Rudy in that IGL slot. Very underrated by a lot of people. I think he's really stepped up here in this tournament, come into his element after all of the LFT madness that was being thrown around. And yeah, next up for you, we do have that upper bracket final game, and Rook and Summer will be carrying us through it. It is Control versus Next in Line. Myself and Kyra are going to take a quick break, but yeah, when the stream comes back, we have that one coming up for you.